So, no explanation needed for why I was gone because I kind of touched on it in my earlier video that I put out, the 75 sub one. It was more than 75 subs. It was a little poem that I wrote in the span of 2 minutes because I thought I'd do something nice for you guys because for some reason, even though I was gone, you guys kept subscribing to me, which is really weird to think about. But I appreciate it, of course, without a doubt. So now that I have some time, I sat down and read a couple fanfics, and I have a couple ones lined up that I want to touch on. I also have a few things that I realize I do owe some people. Gosh darn it, someone requested something on my channel. They gave it right to me in the inbox. JZ Drizzle, right. JZ Drizzle, your request is being processed. I still need to read the story because it's really long, and I don't have very much attention span right now, and I don't have a lot of free time right now. So I'm kind of sticking to one shots at the moment, but I will get to it definitely as soon as I can. I promise. That's a promise. I will read it. I just haven't responded to you because, time issues. And I did have a rant planned, but then I showed it to Sai, and Sai was like, you really had no idea what you were talking about at this one part, and I said yes. And I don't really like to reshoot rants because I don't script them, and then when I redo a rant, it makes it sound like I'm trying to sound like the first one, and that way I stumble a lot more. So instead of doing that, I'm going to review a story that I read on fanfiction. It's called Bonbons by Kaidan. 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 How did I not know how to pronounce that? It's actually a little depressing. Anyways, so Kaidan wrote the story, and the first problem I had with it was right off in the cover. He said, critics agree, and then I'm guessing he put some stuff that he's gotten from commenters, and one of them is 10 times better than Cupcakes, and then this is one of the actual stories of FIM fiction I found really disturbing. The point is it affected my headcanon for Bonbon. Now, first of all, I don't know if these guys are really critics, as you would call them. They might just be simple reviewers, and as such, him putting them up there saying critics agree is incorrect, to say the least. An outright lie, to say the most. And to say anything is 10 times better than Cupcakes is not really giving it too much. Now, the story, the little blurb at the beginning says, Bonbon is suspicious of Lyra's constant late-night practices. She follows her to Octavia's house one night to see what exactly the lyrist is practicing. When she finds Lyra, Vinyl, Octavia having sex, she heads home to plot her revenge. And that's the entire plot that you'll get. You actually get more plot from the little blurb at the beginning than you do from the actual story, which is in and of itself quite a bad way to go about putting your plot forward. As you guys know, I usually require a bit of, I prefer to have a little bit of, exposition in my story. The reason why I dislike Cupcakes so much, despite it being well written and the grimdark being pretty good, is because there was no story to it. All it was here, let's do some torture murder. And the fact someone said 10 times better than Cupcakes doesn't exactly boast my confidence. And upon reading the story and getting to the end, I realized that, link the story down below if you want to read it before I spoil anything, because I'm about to say something that's going to spoil the entire thing before I actually get into it. Read it if you want to. If you don't like grimdark, just wait a couple seconds, it'll be over in that time. This story is disappointing in the sense that I was right. When I looked at the story and said, there's no way this is going to be a good grimdark, or at least a grimdark that I was looking for. Someone just added me on fucking Xbox. Jesus. Anyways, yeah, I lost my train of thought, but in the sense that I went in looking for something with substance. I don't mind if there's torture. I don't mind if there's blood. I don't mind if there's explicit gore. I don't mind if there's, limbs being chopped off. That's all good and fine. But when the reason given is because one pony cheated on another, that's not a valid... If the person was very, very mentally disturbed, it'd be a good reason. But the fact is that Bonbon doesn't seem like that kind of character, especially throughout the entire story. She seems like she is either completely deranged in the sense that she would not be able to fit into normal society, not one of those people who appears nice on the outside but is inside as a complete monster, because she just decides to do this one day. I'm so flustered trying to think of what to do this, because there's nothing I can say about this that won't sound like me talking about Cupcakes again. It's senseless violence, senseless gore. But and it's disappointing in the sense that it too, like Cupcakes, had the potential to be a good story. It could have been a good story. But you know where the story starts? Where its plot starts? With Lyra walking home from having sex with Octavia and Vinyl. That's where it starts. So it doesn't even explain to it that Bonbon, or it doesn't even explain to us that what's going on. Like I said, the little blurb at the beginning explains it better than the entire story does. All that happens is Lyra comes home, Bonbon already knows, knocks her out with a frying pan, smashes her horn, and then she wakes up tied up in the basement a la Cupcakes. It's dumb. And like I said, I was disappointed because I had hope. Now, I won't say that this story is completely without its merits, and honestly, I think the reviewer was right in saying this is slightly better than Cupcakes, because it did have a couple moments in which I was like, ooh, that's pretty well done. For example, in one scene, if you haven't read it, if you have read it, you know what scene I'm talking about. I'm getting confused with all these background pony names. I know I shouldn't, but I feel really bad that I do. But Bonbon cuts Lyra's vocal cords and then brings a teddy bear that Lyra had given her earlier that has one of those little recording things that you can record your voice on. And she presses the button and the bear says, "I love you, Bonnie." So Bonbon straps that to Lyra's neck, so that's the only thing that she can say now. And I thought that was kind of nice. It was creepy, and it showed a lot of derangedness to derangedness isn't a word. I apologize. Showed a lot of capacity for the character to be deranged in the sense that they're still able to think of these incredible ways to torture their person further. And that's all well and good. And I found myself wanting to like this story because some of those scenes were really good. But eventually it got down to the point where, you know, I know the water was boiling hot. You don't need to tell me it's boiling hot in the next sentence kind of thing. The repetitiveness kind of ruined it for me. When I had to read the same things over and over and over and over again, I got a little tired about it. The fact that the story was, again, I won't say it was based around sex, but sex played a huge role in it, kind of ruined it for me. I mean, I'm not that into that sort of thing. But the torture was, as you'd expect, bloody and completely over the top for what the victim had done. She cheated on her, so I think the torture ended up being Bonbon put boiling water on her, cut off all of her hooves at the knee, not before, breaking segments of her hoof off and pulling it out with pliers. She cut her vocal cords, and she burned and sewed her labia shut, which is, yeah. Oh, yeah, and she shoved a spiked baseball bat up her, her vagina. Yes. Which was, yeah. So she cheated on her, so she did all that to her, and, Oh, yeah, and then there was that one other scene which I thought was kind of nice, where she had Vinyl and Octavia tied up, brought down to the basement, and said to Lyra that she'll kill her nice and quickly if she can kill both of them. And Vinyl was awake throughout the entirety of this, but Octavia wasn't. And I thought the scene was good, but it suffered from a lot of the same issues that, that the rest of the story had. It was just seemed to be like the entire killing of them was a bit too quick for my liking, as was much of the torture. It didn't seem to be prolonged as much as it should have been. And unfortunately, the author had this issue where they would like to say how much pain Lyra is in throughout the entire thing, but they don't go to explain the pain. They just say it as, mind-numbing, or, makes her black out that much pain. They don't explain it as searing or anything like that. Not that I can remember, at least. And all in all, I would say that this is a mediocre grimdark. It's not good. It's not bad. It's slightly better than Cupcakes, but it's still in that mediocre bracket. And I mean, if you want to read something and you want to feel a little bit grossed out or a little bit disturbed in yourself, especially if you're like me and you don't feel anything by it, I mean, go ahead and read it. But there are better grimdarks out there, like Cheerilee's Garden. You should go read that. And if you read it a second time, because it really deserves it. My friends are getting tired of me mentioning Shirley's Garden at every opportunity, but you know what? It's a good story. So thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate it. I have a few other things I need to do. I will definitely re-review Goodbye Fluttershy. I cannot believe I missed that. You know what I did? I had reviewed it, put it on my computer, forgot about it, and then I had to reformat my computer and I lost it. So I will be re-reviewing that as soon as I can. I promise. Some other stuff will be coming up soon. Hopefully you guys when I have spare time, because I am working a lot lately. But thank you guys for watching. Have a fantastic day. Talk to you later.